hustle. Crush 'em up, all these street need bosses. Boss 'em up.
Big dog status, Bill Hubble. A ball in his mouth for my brothers. Sold your bag, told the cutter, I got it out the feet.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of the Gen Blend Podcast. My name is JJ.
And I am Raquel, aka Nurse Rock, and we are so excited to be back for episode number 3. We can't move forward without thanking everybody for all of the engagement.
Yep.
We love it. We do. Please hang in there with us, watch us grow, and let's just get in here and just try to bring value to each other. I like that. I like that idea. So how you doing? How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I feel like we're slowly building a small community, a family, and I've just been enjoying the support, breaking out of my shell, and becoming a content creator with this podcast. So
I love that for you. I mean, since we were here last, you have celebrated a birthday. You're now 33 years old.
Yeah, it was very fun. I had a good time with friends and family. We went out to eat.
Yeah. It was nice.
Everybody was looking good, you know.
Yeah, it was
the
really
food
nice.
Was good.
I enjoyed
Drinks
it.
was flowing.
I had a good time. But y'all, I mean the comments and the feedback, it fuels us to continue to do this, and we can't thank you enough again. So we're gonna just come on and try to add something new, but also tie into what we were talking about on the last episode. Last episode, one of our big topics, if you're just joining us for the first time, was how we feel like the entrepreneurship, trades, and college, they're all kind of almost on equal playing fields for the first time, I feel like, in history. And I want to talk about, because while we were talking about, okay, whatever you decide to do, we were talking about making a plan, right, for your future and set it up, and you can really pretty much go either direction and be successful, because at the end of the day, you want to be successful. And success definitely looks different for everybody. But with that being said, we also have to be very careful. Take it from me, a Gen Xer. I am in my early 50s, and I understand how things can get a little bit out of control.
Overwhelming.
Work-life balance, people. Work-life balance is something also that you're going to have to plan out. And I just want to talk a little bit about that. Whatever you dive into, you're going to have to save some room for quite a few things. What do you think is important? Like when you're talking about work-life balance, what does that mean to you?
That means, making sure you go to work and do the work and stuff, but also make sure you have time for the people that's important in your life. Make sure you have time to enjoy the fruits of your labor.
Right.
And, just like what it is, self-explanatory, balance.
It is. It is a balance. Yeah. Absolutely. But I want to bring this up. And I think when we're talking about the Gen Xers and the millennials, this is where I have a little, I got a little bit on you when it comes to this, because I've had a little bit more time to live, right? So I've already been in my 30s. Now I'm in my 50s. What I realize now, and what I want to get out, and I hope that people catch on to this and that it actually does bring them value, is that when we are labeling things out, and I let you say what you wanted to say about what you thought it meant, but what I found out, the majority of people, you leave out self-care.
Yeah.
You talk about having time for everybody else, but I think in order for you to be the best to those people or to those events in life, you have to make sure that you put yourself as a priority from time to time. So self-care is something I feel like the Gen Xers now, during this time, we look back and we realize that we might have neglected that because it was all about that hustle. And I think it's just an age thing anyway. Once you hit certain milestones in life, you look back and you're like, wait a minute.
I think you guys too, a lot of the times, some people, it makes them happy to, make the people that they love happy.
It does.
So that kind of is self-care.
It does.
It fills you with joy to know that your family is taken care of and they're happy and they're having fun, and you get to see them and spend time with them and enjoy those moments with them.
I get that
Yeah.
totally.
So that's kind of still self care.
Well, it is in a way, but it's like it also brings you back to the word balance.
Yeah.
Because I think for me, I admit I was a helicopter mom, and for me, it was so important that you guys were happy and had everything you need, but almost to the point where I would neglect myself at times just because I wanted to feed everything into you and Daryl and John. You know what I mean?
Make sure we always was in
Yeah.
sports and
Yeah.
everything, like with my basketball camps and my games and all that. That was kind of like priority.
Yeah, it was.
And
Yeah.
y'all made sure I made it to like every practice, and we traveled to every game and camp and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So
Yeah, and I think that I look at us now that and I enjoy that. Time goes by so fast, and I don't regret any of that. It's just that I think we learn lessons so that we could try to uplift or enhance somebody else's experience. And I would like for, young men and young ladies, especially when you have toddlers and you have, a few toddlers and you just still wrapped up into what's going on with them.
Yeah.
And it is okay. It is okay every now and then to step back and give yourself some time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that is so important. But like we're saying, when you're in that hustle though, it's a good feeling sometimes. Ain't nothing like the hustle.
Sometimes you gotta dig in and just work,
Yeah.
work
Yeah.
until you get the results you want. But on the other hand, sometimes you have to take a break and get that, like
It's hard.
enjoy your progress.
Yeah.
Look at your
Right.
progress and be proud of yourself. you
Yeah.
know?
Because like, what are you doing it for?
Yeah.
Like, what is your hustle for?
Mm-hmm.
Like, there was this week actually, there was a article that I read. There was a young lady that was 40 years old. She had for about a year, she had a new business that she had started, and she was working 7 days a week. And she decided, she was feeling overwhelmed, and she decided to take that one day off. And so she went to rest, but a family member found her the next day. She had passed away. She was only 40 years old.
It's sad.
Not to bring sadness to the show, but just to say, what are we working for? We still have to have that balance. I'm all about that hustle because I wear several hats, so I get it. But take care of yourself. It's important. It doesn't mean you don't love your job.
Yeah.
Like, you still got to step away from it.
Yeah. I think I was a victim of that a few years ago before I got my job that I had now. And I was working part-time at Nike, and then I was helping my dad. I was working with him 7 days a week.
Yeah.
And I think that I needed to do that, and it helped me. But at the same time, I wasn't able to do a lot because I was always working,
Yeah.
So I missed out on a lot.
Yeah. And I think that's I feel like that was like a transition for you too. I feel like you really truly understood all these years what your dad has been doing when he was obligated to go.
Yeah, I got a new
You had a
understanding.
new perspective because 7 days a week, even though he's self-employed, he's very hands-on, and it's got to be done his way, right?
Yeah.
So he most of the time, usually that's why we traveled a lot. We normally left the country or went somewhere a few times a year because that was the only way that he wouldn't touch it. He could actually leave it alone. So yeah, I mean, there has to be, and for him, that was his balance.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's like the millennials, I feel like, and the generation after you guys, I think it's harder for you guys because of the way the economy is set up.
Yeah.
Like a lot of times the income doesn't match the expense.
Yeah, because sometimes we have no choice but to work.
Right.
Yeah.
You're not even trying to. You ain't even trying to flex on nobody.
Yeah, you
it's just you
trying
just
to
want
keep
your
up.
lights to stay
Yeah,
on.
you trying to keep up and not be living check to check.
Right. And you know, some people want to be out of debt, and some debt is unavoidable,
Yeah,
right?
it's
You
hard
have
to-
to get into
yeah,
debt,
mhm.
and so having a good job and keeping that job so that you know that you can have a check to depend on. I get all that,
Yeah.
but what I'm saying is, I feel like there are little things that can be done to start establishing a balance. You know what I'm saying, guys? It's like, for instance, a lot of people work from home. So let's say if you're working from home, then set boundaries and have a workspace. Don't take your laptop and do your stuff in all different areas. Don't let that work invade certain spaces. Let certain spaces be for life.
I'm kind of guilty of that.
Yeah. Let certain spaces be
sometimes I
life.
don't
Have
use
your workspace. Or if you go into an office, have a cutoff time. Have a cutoff time when you're going to open that last email, or when you're
Yeah.
going to start that last case, or when you're going to, you know, start setting boundaries and make it a part of your routine to have boundaries. And I don't think that's slighting your job. I think it's helping you be a better employee, because
Yeah.
burnout is real.
Yeah, you told me that when I first started my job. Now, because I was doing that, was thinking about, stressing about things at the job when I log off.
Yeah.
And you was telling me to don't like keep your job at your job. When you sign off, you don't need to be thinking about it no more, and don't let it stress you out. So
Right.
yeah,
And I had to
like-
learn that as a when I was a bedside nurse, seeing the things that I saw, and even now being an administrator, seeing the things like some of the medical alerts and some of the things that I see, you have to have a cutoff. You have to tell yourself, okay, I have to leave this. Everything in this building has to stay in this building. I can't take any of this in my heart and my mind. I got to let it go, because if I allow it to take up space, then it's taking space up from my family and friends,
Yeah,
you know? So
and it'll deteriorate your mental with all that stuff that you go through at your job too.
oh yeah, I agree.
Emotional.
Yeah, I don't think people realize that. And this that stuff does it. You can bring it over into relationships the wrong way, because you don't know how to cut off a stressor. You know what I mean? It's because how do we know? How do you guys, I would like for y'all to be in the comments and let us know, like, what do you do? How do you gauge whether or not you've been too far? Are you going too far with your job, or your hustle is too much of a hustle? Or what kind of things do you do to make sure that you are within some type of boundary? Like, what do you do? Let us know in the comments. We love that when you guys send us messages and kind of talk more on it, what we've been saying, because you give us a lot of ideas. There was a guy in the comments this week that I was reading on one of the clips, and he was just so thorough with his comment, and I'm I was like,
talking about with the trade.
yes.
Yeah.
I put in y'all. So when we were talking about the trades, we were giving the apprenticeship, like when you first started, or when you're under somebody, or when you haven't built your experience. Those are those numbers. But he was saying that once you build your experience, those numbers I was giving was not even touching what he was making, honey. So it was double that. So it's like, listen, we get that. So stuff like that, letting people know, and then when other people can read those comments, they can say, wait a minute, so you mean to tell me not only can I start out doing this making 70, after a little bit of experience, I'm making 140. And I feel like entrepreneurship and trades, it's going to definitely jump income.
Yeah.
It's going to jump up faster than you getting the 3% raises every year at a corporate job because of your college degree.
Yeah, if you do it right, and
If you
put
do
in
it
the right
right.
work,
If you put in it, that's it. If that's it, absolutely.
just don't overwork. That's all we're saying.
Yeah. We just keeping a balance. You know, I don't know, like the difference between the Gen Xers and the millennials. What do you see much difference of, like,
I think there's a lot of similarities.
when it comes to this subject?
Yeah, when it comes to the subject, because a lot of
Do you think it's cultural more than it is generations?
yes.
Do you think it's cultural?
I think it's more
Because,
cultural. Yeah,
you know,
because some cultures I don't want to bring race into it, but like you know, in the black community, we already starting, you know.
Right. Well, I mean, honestly, so let me tell you. So that's one thing we won't do. We're not gonna. We don't want to pin races against each other.
Mm.
But I also refuse to deny facts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just because if you deny it or if you remove it from a book, doesn't mean it didn't happen.
Yeah.
That's my whole thing. As being an educator, I'm not down with that. But it's just the facts are, we don't all start out with the same advantages.
Start out with a disadvantage.
Those are facts. It has nothing
and
to do with
we have to work
being
harder than other people.
You do.
So.
You do. And I feel like I know I grew up being taught, and that's a Gen X thing. And I don't know. I probably taught y'all the same thing, so it's probably a millennial thing too. But I grew up being told that I need to do it 3 times better, work 3 times harder to get the same recognition.
I don't think that's changed.
You don't think that's changed?
I don't think that's changed. No.
Because that's what I do. I make it where it's almost like going to court. You're gonna know beyond a shadow of a doubt that I know what I'm doing. So we can be a bit much for that reason. Because I feel like you almost have to prove, you know what I mean? Where some people don't have to prove, some others do, and that's facts. That's just the way it is.
That's what makes us shine in the dark sometimes.
Yeah, the resilience is unbeatable for sure. Yeah, that's for sure. But by us always having to be the ones that just always does that extra, you see how you can get lost in the sauce.
Mm-hmm.
You can really start neglecting yourself.
Yeah.
So let's see, for a male, what kind of things would you do to provide self-care for yourself? Because I don't even think you know how. Because you just I know now. I can tell you all. I can line you up the spas and the different things I'm gonna do to take care of myself.
Me,
what do you do?
It's the same thing, but I feel like I should do a little bit more. But like for me, it's just playing, because all my friends are like scattered all over the place over the state. We don't live in the same areas, but we communicate a lot because we have the game, and we talk online and we play the game.
Is that a way of escape for you?
Almost definitely.
Because I heard, now I was reading, I heard, and I talked to somebody else about this. So when your generation, when y'all do these games where y'all like all playing the same game together and you're talking and you're doing all that kind of takes you out of the moment and helps you like be with your friend, like have a time to step away.
It's a way for us, because even though we're not getting together like in person a lot, it's a way for us to like keep those relationships and also get away from reality and like step away from the things that stress us out. Even though when we be losing, the game stresses us out sometimes, like
right.
But it still is like a stress reliever, like, because it's like something that we enjoy to do, get to the together.
Right.
So
I mean, I think that's good though. I mean, I can see, because it's debatable about, I know, just knowing what I know. I know in relationships and stuff, sometimes games can be part of a point of contention in relationships, I would say. Sometimes.
But a lot of I say that's half and half, because some women love that their men are gamers because they're at home, they know what they're doing.
They're not out clubbing,
and they know they're safe.
They
at
in
home.
the house.
Yeah.
Right.
They're not
True.
out getting in the car accident. They know they're safe at home with them.
Yeah.
And even with like, I know me personally, I know men love like when sometimes their lady are in the same room as them, and they're just on their phone on TikTok, but and we're just gaming and just be in the same room, and then y'all have your little side conversation sometime in between games. That's just,
that's another difference between the Gen X and the millennials, and just
that is, yeah.
I feel like with the relationships. First of all,
well, y'all did, but they were.
We had the Atari,
but y'all
and we are the generation that bought in Pac-Man
and Mario and all that.
And then
Mario,
after
y'all
yes,
okay.
So I remember, like, I was a teenager when the Nintendo, and it was the Mario Brothers, Zelda. There were certain ones, Galaga. There were certain games that everybody was playing, and it was a thing. But we couldn't communicate because at that time,
That was good for y'all when y'all
it
was
wasn't
together
cell phones
in
and
one
stuff.
spot. But now you can be on the other side of the world
Yeah.
and still keep in touch with your core friends.
And that's great.
Yeah.
I think that's wonderful. I mean, I don't know. It's just so confusing now. I think it is, and y'all, I just got my braces tightened today, so please be patient with me. I feel like it is a convenience as far as
Very
the digital
convenient.
world is, but it also can be a false security blanket for some people, because some people, they think they really know somebody, and really all they know is them through text or through digital
Get to the game,
experiences.
yeah.
And we're in those, it could be circumstances where people can be who they want to be for you.
Yeah.
Because that's the difference between the Gen Xers. Like, I come from the old school where my grandma, you know, she used to teach me to watch a person. You know what I mean? It takes a while. It takes a good minute of being around somebody and watching them and observing them to see if they are who they say they are, because action always speaks louder than words.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I know there's been circumstances where I learned this from family, from the older generation before me, the baby boomers. You can watch people, and if you around somebody that you think is a friend, and then they go away, and she's talking to all of y'all like she's everybody's friend, but when if a person walks away from that group, and then that person talks negatively about that person that they were just smiling in their face, that's one of those signs. Oh, wait a minute, baby.
Yeah.
Because if the person would do it to the other person, they would do it to you.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think now we're just a little bit. Your generation, I think, is more trusting
To a certain
than we.
extent.
We were a little bit skeptical. We were a little bit
See, I'm different though, because half my friends that I do play the game with,
Right.
I met through the game, but it was like through mutual friends or somebody I already knew, and then we all kind of like got together and I met most of the people that I play the game with in person, and we all hang out and we built relationships. So it'll be different if I never met them in person.
Oh
And
yeah. See, that's different.
yeah.
But I know some people that go a long time before they actually meet somebody in person, but they start to trust. Now, some of your intuition, you can do intuition,
Yeah.
and you know they're trustworthy. But
I mean, there's always signs when people they always have something negative to say, nothing good to say.
yeah, true. Or never hype you up for nothing.
Backhanded compliments.
Yeah. That little passive aggressive behavior type of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I be peeping. So like
You gotta
I'm
pay
me.
attention.
I don't know about other millennials, but for me, I can peep who's my true friend and who's not. And then I have different relationships with different people. Like, I know how much trust I can put in one friend than the other.
Than the other. Yeah.
Like, some friends I can tell certain stuff to, and then some friends I don't feel comfortable telling. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
Because
True.
they like, if I'm going through a downtime, they might try to make a joke out of it or something like that. You know?
Yeah.
So, which I know that sometimes that's just their character, like their personality. Like, they don't mean nothing
Or it could
by
be how they normally cope with something.
Yeah.
And then this is how they're reacting
Sometimes
to
they don't
you.
mean
It's
nothing
not
by it, but
negative.
you got to know the difference between those type of people where they don't mean nothing by it and the people that do, like, have something like ulterior motive behind what they're saying and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Trying to keep you down with them.
This might. Yeah.
But I think I'm a pretty good judge of a character as far as friendships go.
I think because most of your friends I really love, especially during the high school time and college time.
Middle school too.
And middle school.
My
Like,
friends
those are
loved
people.
you.
I know.
They still be talking about you sometimes.
Mama
when I talk
Rock.
to
They call me Mama Rock.
Yeah.
They did. But yeah, I mean, I love loving people. Like, I love to love on people. I think that's a good thing. But I think it's very interesting now, though, how, for instance, for me, with Nurse Rock and TikTok and all the things, I do have a handful of people that I haven't seen in person. We FaceTimed and we've texted and we talked. that I really do have the vibe from them that they are like, if they lived in my town, or lived in their town, we'd be like, we would be hanging. We would be genuine friends, and I feel like we are genuinely wanting each other's best interest, because I will do anything I can for her or them, and they will do the same for me.
Then y'all genuinely support each other online.
We do. We support each other. We hype each other up. We share each other's stuff. We're always, we know what it takes in social media, and so they, they're there. So I mean, but a lot of things though now, it's not just regular friendships, but even relationships are people find their mate online.
Yep.
And at least it's a starting point. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I feel like nowadays it's almost like it's the norm to find people online.
Yeah, you almost have to.
Yeah, because people.
There's so many of us,
that
and
goes
everybody
back to the
spread out.
work-life balance. Like some people just work too much, and the only time they can find somebody or have, find interest in somebody is someone they see online. So, Tinder and everything and all that is definitely something that's very popular with my generation.
Bubbles and
Bumble.
Oh well, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I feel like because since y'all didn't have social media, like y'all had to go out and meet someone.
We didn't even have cell phones.
Yeah, exactly. So
I was happy when we got cordless phones, so we can walk around the house with the phone.
Yeah.
Because it used to be the long little curly line.
Yeah.
And we were happy when Mama would go, and instead of being the standard line that came with the phone, she would go and buy one of those like 10-foot curly lines so that we can like be in the kitchen and still walk around the corner. And that's just the kind of stuff we had to,
Yeah.
But I mean, it was nice. But you had to be trusting too, because guess what? When I left the house,
Mm-hmm.
and if Mama said be back, I was back.
Yeah.
Where if I wanted to with y'all when y'all growing up, I could just put a locator.
Mm-hmm.
I could have known where you at.
Or if we had cell phones, you can call us.
I can just call.
Yeah. And like y'all didn't have that at all.
Right.
I feel like too, like for you to get a woman, if you was a man back in the day, you actually had to have some type of game, because you had to approach women back in. Nowadays, we don't really have to approach women.
Yeah.
I don't think. I mean, I have a time or two, but I think most of the time I really approach women online, or not even just approach them. Like if I'm like around them a lot and we build a relationship and then stuff like that. But I think a lot of times though, if I saw somebody attractive online, I'll hop in the DMs.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, it's definitely different. It's definitely different. So, I mean, you
have a lot more access to people nowadays too.
That's true.
Back in the day, you only had access to people that in your area, in your town. Now, if I was single, I could have access to somebody all the way in LA, or if I wanted to do like long distance, you know what I'm saying? Like if it was somebody that I was interested in and they lived far away, I have access to them now because of social media and cell phones and stuff like that, technology.
Yeah.
FaceTime probably like one of the best inventions.
Oh yeah, definitely. And even with, like we were talking about before when we were talking about work-life balance, even with work being remote, we couldn't do that back then. Yeah. We could, like, you get to be.
I love remote work.
Yeah. And then some jobs are hybrid where you remote a few days a week and then you just go in a couple of days but you do. And they say people are more productive. And I think they might be more productive just because the pressure of being in the office is gone.
I feel like, because there's not that micromanagement, which it's still possible to do that from remote, but I feel like it's less likely. And then like some people like to listen to music or like have a podcast, listen to a podcast while you working. Yeah. I don't like how I looked at the camera like I'm in the office or something.
Right.
But yeah, so like
they might want to turn on the Jen Blim podcast.
So they can do stuff in the background while they work and help their productivity.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, remote is definitely the move. Like I like remote.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, I think it's a lot of advantages. It's definitely a lot of advantages in the having a remote job.
There's a lot of disadvantages too.
Yeah.
For me, I feel like I'm not able to network as much as I would in the office
Yeah, that's
and
true.
meet other people in other departments.
Yes, because people don't
Yeah.
even know you exist.
Yeah.
Except for your team.
Mhm.
Like, that's true.
And like people,
Some ways
people on
can
teams.
can remote jobs can hold you back from moving
Yeah.
up because they don't know who you are.
Yeah, like on Microsoft Teams, like a lot of people don't even have pictures on their profile. I don't have a picture on my profile, so people don't even
See,
know what
don't
you
even
look
know
like.
you.
They don't even know me unless I have met people in person as
How
far
do
as
you
like
handle that?
from training and stuff.
How do they? I mean,
That's
do you think that will become a future problem?
it can be. It depends.
Because-
I feel like for right now, like for me, it could be a problem for me as far as like me wanting to move up or go to another department because they don't know who I am and they don't see the work that I put in every day.
Yeah, I just feel like I can almost see how sometimes remote jobs can put you at a disadvantage. Let's say there is an opening and then you got people that are in office
Mm-hmm.
and then you're remote
Mm-hmm.
and all they have to go off of is what you put on paper.
Yeah.
It's almost, even though you work for that company and you would be an internal hire, it's almost like you're an external hire that they don't know anything about other than what you put down on paper.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing. The external hire is going to have their management say something about them and your management say something about you. But that person that's in the office may have an opportunity to build a rapport.
Yeah, like
with the
even if they're just
team
in passing and saying hey and bye every day when at
It's
work,
still a
yeah,
consistent,
They still give you like a little bit of upper leg
yeah,
as
it's a
far
little
as like
bit.
a job competition for a
Yeah,
job. Yeah, so
Yeah. Because I feel like I always felt like internal hires always had a leg up over external hires when they're positions most of the time.
Yeah.
And so I feel like that kind of puts that out there. But it's just something to think about.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's mainly, I guess it's mainly just how you look at it. And if you go into it knowing when you take a remote job, you're going to have to find things that will help you stand out.
Yeah, that's a fact.
You're just going to have to find things that will help you stand out. Definitely. But so we don't want to keep y'all too long today, but we want to talk about next week. So today we touched on quite a few things, and I'm hoping that you guys understand what we're saying about work-life balance and how important it is to make sure you add a little self-care. Next week, I think we want to dive a little bit into parenting, the difference between parenting as a Gen Xer and millennials. And since we were already talking about the digital age that we're in now, I want y'all to think about it, parents, you millennial parents. Like, what are you dealing with now with your babies? Do you think digital products are getting in the way of them learning? It's teaching them, but is it teaching them the right things?
Yeah,
And even if you put on educational apps, it's still that screen time. It's giving them a dependence to wanting screen time.
Screen time. Parents fight with how much screen time they give their children all the time.
I think a lot of kids sometimes want to be on their iPad more than they want to do, you sitting down
Play with toys,
playing with a toy, or you teaching them how to spell versus the iPad showing them how to spell. I think that's a good one for us to dive into, the different things, the parenting differences of a Gen Xer versus, and what we dealt with versus what millennials deal with.
Mm-hmm.
And let's not even talk about daycare prices.
Yeah.
As millennials, I feel sorry for y'all.
Yeah.
It's a mortgage.
Yeah. We'll get into that next week.
Yeah, we're gonna get into all of that next week. But we have enjoyed y'all. I hope that this has been food for your mind, body, and soul, honey.
Yep. Good episode.
I think it's a good episode.
Yep.
Y'all,
let us know in the comments too what y'all think about our shirts. Yeah. Digital Vibe Wearables.
Digital Vibe Wearables. Mr. Maurice
Made these shirts.
made my shirt. Shirts for us for the Gen Blend.
He
is playing around with different designs. My husband is also building logos. So it's been interesting. It's been fun. Yep. And we are thankful that you guys are here with us in the beginning of everything, so you can see where we grow to.
Yep.
But until next time.
All right, we out, y'all.
All right. Bye, y'all.
These streets can't cross it. Cross them up. All these streets need bosses. Boss them up.
Big dog status, Bill Hubble. I bought Lennox Mall for my brothers. Gold yard bag, told the cutter. I got it out the field.